Okay. Thank you, everybody, for joining us here, everybody who's in here in the room with us, and everybody who is joining us online. I just wanted to say, my name is Melanie Wagner. I'm the city manager, and we wanted to welcome you to the Inclusion and Equity in Local Government listening session. So our goal is to spend as much time listening as possible. So we'll make these introductions short, and I've already talked too long for Carlos. We do have Spanish interpretation if you'd like to welcome everybody.
Hola, mi nombre es Melanie y yo soy la manager de la ciudad y queremos darle la bienvenida a todos ustedes y esta es la reunión de inclusión y equidad. Nos gustaría escucharlos a todos y de esta manera poder tener el tiempo posible para que todos puedan introducirse y tener una introducción bien corta o pequeña.
Okay, thank you. I've not worked with an interpreter before, so.
Yo no he trabajado con un intérprete antes, entonces tengo que ajustarme.
So thank you. We appreciate everyone who's taken time to join us, to share with us, or to just listen along with us.
Queremos agradecerle a todos los que han tomado el tiempo para poder estar aquí presentes y darnos su opinión o escuchar lo que vamos a hablar.
Okay, and we'll just translate this beginning portion and then so that anybody who's listening will be able to understand.
Vamos a traducir esta parte para que todos los que están escuchando y necesitan escucharlo en español puedan entenderlo cómo vamos a manejar este tiempo.
Okay, I'd like to introduce Erin Smith, who is our DEI committee chair, is with us tonight.
Esta es Erin Smith y ella es la presidenta del Comité de Equidad y Diversidad.
And we have city councilors joining us, Councilor Hughes, Councilor Strobel, and Councilor Tenbush.
Y tenemos a los otros tres consejeros de la ciudad, Hughes, Strobel,
Councilor
and
Strobel.
Tenbush.
Yes. Everybody who wants to speak will have 3 minutes to share, and we'll alternate between those in person and online.
Todos los que van a hablar van a tener 3 minutos y vamos a alternarlos entre los que están aquí en vivo y los que están por medio de la internet.
Questions we're specifically looking to answer are, what barriers to access or inclusion have you experienced or witnessed in Estacada?
Las preguntas que vamos a estar tratando que quisiéramos escuchar de ustedes, ¿cuáles son las barreras para el acceso o inclusión que ustedes han experimentado o han sido testigos aquí en la ciudad de Estacada?
And what questions or issues should the city council consider to ensure access and inclusion for city services, programs, and infrastructure?
¿Y cuáles preguntas o problemas el concilio debería de considerar para asegurarnos el acceso y la inclusión con respecto a los servicios de la ciudad, los programas y la infraestructura que tenemos aquí?
Staff or committee members won't be answering questions or having a discussion. We're just here to listen tonight.
Los miembros del comité o staff de la ciudad no van a estar respondiendo a ninguna de las preguntas o discutiéndola durante este tiempo, sino simplemente vamos a estar recolectando la información para un proceso.
Okay, and finally, there'll be a summary of the comments shared that we'll post on the city website, and we can provide Spanish to English translation for anybody who wants to share, but from here on out, we'll just do English unless somebody needs that translation to share.
Vamos a hacer como un resumen de todos los comentarios y todo lo que podamos colectar en el día de hoy y se podrá poner en la página de internet de la ciudad y podríamos hacerlo en español y en inglés si lo necesitan.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Okay.
We forgot one introduction.
Uh-oh.
Jenny Strickland is on the Zoom here. And Jenny is another member of the DEI committee.
Se nos olvidó que Jenny está atendiendo esta reunión por medio de Zoom en Internet y ella es otra miembro del Comité de Inclusión y Equidad. Bienvenida, Jenny.
Thank you. Okay, so why don't we begin? If there's somebody who would like to go first, just raise your hand. We have a microphone at the podium so that anybody, we have a couple of guests online, Jennifer and can't read, I think Heidi Prokop is online to listen. Yeah, so if we'll start with somebody in the room, if anybody would like to share, you can go to the podium and there'll be a little light that indicates your 3 minutes, but does anybody like to start? Anybody online would like to start? Okay, well, it's kind of always interesting to have a formal, make something so formal, but if there's any, those were a couple of specific questions that we thought would be helpful. If there's anything else that anybody would like to discuss, not discuss, but to share about experiences in Estacada or things that they would like the council or the DEI committee to hear and to know, we would love to hear from you. Deborah? Yes, please. And then you can just state your name and you'll have 3 minutes.
Hi, my name is Deborah Vandetta. I wear a couple of hats. I am the Youth Services Librarian, and I'm also a member of the Arts Commission. And what I would like to share with you is an opportunity for DEIC and for some members of Ant Farm who I know are in the audience for an event during Hispanic Heritage Month in September and October. In the past, the library has hosted Dia de los Muertos, and I would love to do it again this year as a larger community event with a lot of buy-in. I'd also like to get the school involved and have this really be something that reaches out to every part of our community. In the small program I did last year, we had a lot of attendance from our Spanish communities, and these cultural events are what really brings the community into the library. And so I want to build on that momentum. And I think an important part would be also creating a large community altar, either in the library or somewhere out in public that anyone in the community could be a part of. And the altar is something that, as part of Dia de los Muertos, people use to remember family that have passed or friends that have passed in the past year or even previously. It's a beautiful, important tradition. And I think remembrance is something that we all can get behind and share. And culturally, it's such a rich tradition and it's beautiful. And I hope that that's something that we could all collaborate on together to make our Spanish community members feel more welcome and to just share an event that's really powerful and moving. Expect some emails from me as I reach out to you to plan this event. And in the future, I will be applying for grants again through the RAC. COVID messed that up greatly, so their grant schedule is all off kilter, but in the future we'd apply for grants for that again and be able to do a much larger celebration throughout Hispanic Heritage Month. But for this next year, I'm just going to focus on Dia de los Muertos that weekend around Halloween. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Deborah. All right. Does anybody else have ideas or thoughts that they would like to share?
I'm just going to repeat the question. I realize we
Okay.
don't have it posted up.
Oh, yes, we don't have it posted.
And I think the first of the two questions is probably going to be, I don't know, maybe most important or at least easiest for people to answer, which is, what barriers to access or inclusion have you experienced or witnessed, especially in Estacada?
And if you're online, you need to raise your hand so that we can give you the mic.
Any thoughts from counselors or?
So hi, I'm Jerry. One thing I'd like to just commend city staff on is one barrier that has been, that they've been working towards eliminating is the, like tonight with the translator, before everything was just put out in, just English, and now there's just about everything we do is also translated into Spanish at the minimum. And I just want to commend staff on working on that. That's been a great step towards, getting rid of a barrier. So I appreciate that.
Thank you. All right, well, we might not need a whole hour for our listening session tonight. Any thoughts or anything anybody would like to share? Counselor Strobel?
Just a couple of things I want to clarify. I think, thanks for Taylor for repeating the question because what you've experienced or what you have witnessed as well too. So we are all involved in different community events. We're all involved in various commissions. We're involved in various nonprofits as well too. So we might witness some things that we would like to hear as well too. So what we've witnessed as well too is valid to share. And then also this is being recorded. This will be out, I'm assuming, on the city's YouTube site. So please, after this, feel free to share it as well. We would love to hear stories. This isn't a one-time thing. Feel free to send information into the city as well too. I love that this is a great start to get the conversation going.
Great, thank you. Yes, there's a comment form on the website that you can use, or for those of you who are here this evening, if you have a thought or idea that you want to write down versus to share out loud, you can feel free to do that and leave it in the comment box, or anytime reach out to staff, and we'll accommodate that the best that we can. Okay.
We have an online.
Oh, we do have an online.
Christy, you have given the mic now. You can speak.
Hi. So when you were asking the question, what barriers to access have we experienced in Estacada? Mine are more so with the schools. I have 3 children, and next school year they'll be in Clackamas River, the middle school and the high school. And, often I have to bring, so my daughter is fully disabled. She's in a wheelchair, nonverbal. And I noticed that like at 8th grade night when we were there, when we had to walk out of one of the doors, it wasn't ADA. There was no ramp. We had to figure out how to get her wheelchair down the stairs or try to go down this muddy hill. So, my ask, and especially with the middle school, we had to attend a choir concert for my daughter. And the only handicap entrance was in the back of the school and the door was locked. So it makes it incredibly hard for us to attend family events when we have to figure out, how we're going to get my daughter's wheelchair into the event just to celebrate our other children. So I think it's really important for the school system and the city to, come together and try to figure out how we can make every single entrance to the schools accessible so that we're not having to go to a back door or having to try to figure out other ways of coming into entrances. So that's what I wanted to bring up tonight.
Thank you, Christy. Thank you for sharing that. And we can take that to heart here at the city, as well as pass that comment on along to the school district as well. Yeah. Okay. Anybody else online like to share something? If you do, just raise your hand. Over here. Oh, okay. Yes. We have one here in person.
Alrighty, hi everyone. My name is Blanca Doroteo. I work for Ant Farm and El Futuro. And then thank you. This is the first time that I've been here. And then I would like to share some opinion about the barriers that we might have as Latinos. And then like the counselor just mentioned right now about the English that it's, or the translation, that's really hard for the community sometimes to understand some of these meetings. And it's a really great idea that you guys have someone today to translate. And we're gonna start working here. Our team is gonna start, we're gonna have an office in this area. So I think that would be a really good idea for everyone to communicate, for everyone to work together, so we can bring the Latino community to these meetings and be part of this. So we can share what's going on. I mean, I'm not familiar with the area, but I'm pretty sure a lot of Latinos here may have something to say. So hopefully next time when we have a meeting like this, we can share more information and we can have more Latinos here. Thank you.
That would be great. Thank you so much for sharing. Okay, I don't want to wrap up too early in case somebody else was hoping to hop on the Zoom or to stop in. But I also don't want to hold you hostage for too much longer, unless somebody else has any other ideas to share or questions or comments that we could document. Yes.
Just
Counselor
comment.
Hughes.
I just want to thank everyone for coming out tonight, and I got to speak to some of you, and it was really, I like that we're doing this, Melanie. I think this is a great idea, and hopefully people out online will see this, and maybe it'll encourage them to, you know, come next time, since this is kind of the first time, the kickoff. So yeah, I just appreciate everyone coming out tonight. I think this is a good start to something, and I appreciate these listening sessions. So yeah, thanks, guys.
Right.
I wonder if the audience or our Zoom folks don't have anything else to share in response to the questions. I'm curious if any of our counselors or DEI committee members have other questions at the top of your mind related to these issues, if this would be a good time for that.
Sure.
Well, I really appreciated, let me go back to my notes here. I just really appreciated it. Christy, was it that called in, Zoomed in, talking about the ADA barriers that we have, especially at the middle school. I mean, it's just something that, you know, and unless you live in a family that is some of you have somebody that's wheelchair bound, you just don't understand that. So, and you just don't really see it, you kind of take it for granted. So, you know, again, my eyes don't see certain things because I'm just walking around. So I appreciate, you know, comments and phone calls like this, because then we can, you know, the city, or I can, you know, since I do attend the school board meetings, I can then, you know, say, hey, have you guys thought about this? You know, maybe a little oversight, or are you at least working towards this? So when people call in and comment, it's so important, because again, we don't know unless people mention things, and so we can't see change unless people speak up. So I really just appreciate that comment. And like Jerry, Counselor Tenbush was saying, you know, I think it's great that we have a translator, and I know it's something that we're working towards for city council meetings, maybe in the future, or at least translating live a portion of it. That'll come a lot. I'm sure a lot just depends on, you know, availability of a translator. So, but, you know, working towards things, working towards solutions. And so we just really need those comments from people, but I appreciate for calling in and making that observation and letting us know. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, my thought is, unless Counselor Strobel or Counselor Tenbush or Aaron, if you'd like to make any final comment, we could do that. And then maybe we could pause the Zoom, but we could hang out. Is there somebody else who wanted to share online?
We just had a couple of new folks join
Okay.
in the attendees list. So
If there's anybody online who would like to share, use the raise hand feature, and then we could bring you in.
yeah, and so for the people who just joined the Zoom, we are asking participants to share what barriers to access or inclusion have you experienced or witnessed in Estacada? And so if you would like to share, the people who just joined the Zoom, if you'd like to share, please use the raise hand function and we'll bring you in.
Okay. And if you would like, anybody who wants to review this, as was mentioned previously, it'll be posted on the city website and on the YouTube page. I don't see any hands at this point, so maybe we could pause the Zoom and staff could hang out for a while longer in case somebody comes, was hoping to come and catch us at the end, or join Zoom later on, and we could keep an eye on that, but we could let you either visit with each other, or we can dismiss the meeting at this point if you want. Would that be all right, you think? Probably. Unless anybody else has questions or comments. Did you have thoughts or anything to
Is there
share,
anything-
Carlos? Yeah.
Anything that you've noticed in Estacada that's a barrier to?
No, at this point.
Mhm. Okay, well, we want to keep improving. We want to make sure that those things that maybe we aren't seeing or we haven't done in the past, just because we haven't done them, doesn't mean we're not going to ever be able to move in that direction. We'd like to make some changes and make sure that everybody in the community is included, whether it's a physical access or language access, or just, I think sometimes just knowing that it's a benefit for everybody in the community. The more people that we can get involved, whether you've been here for ever or you're brand new here, we'd like to be able to include people. And I think that's the council's goal, and for the DEI committee also. Erin, would you like to share?
I just add that if anybody has comments to share later, that there is always an opportunity in the DEI meetings
True.
that are held on Mondays at 1. It seems like every other week we're meeting, and there's always 2 placeholders for citizen comments. So we'd love it if people would come to us and share their thoughts with us.
Excellent, good point. Okay.
And I've got a question in the Q&A, which is, when will the next one of these meetings be? We don't currently have another listening session scheduled, so I would just reiterate what Erin just said. The DEI committee meetings are open to the public, and there's always a citizen comments, 2 citizen comments sections on their agenda. And we'll just have to keep the public posted on whenever we schedule the next listening session on this topic. So,
City council meetings also have public comment every time they meet, that you're welcome to come and share. And also city staff are here. City Hall is open 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and you can call, you can stop by, or you can use the comment form on the website, or pick somebody's email to send in an email to us. And we just love to hear from the community. So.
And all counselors' emails are on the city website under the
Yes.
counselor profile. So we would love to hear from everybody also.
Very true. Okay, well, why don't we pause the Zoom unless there's any other hands, which I don't see.
can I take this opportunity to encourage people to fill out the visioning survey?
Yes, you may.
Okay.
3 minutes.
So over on that far table, and for anyone online, this is also available on the city's website. We are surveying the public about basically how people feel about all of the growth that's happening, what types of housing and kind of how much housing and at what affordability levels are you seeing is needed in the community. And we're also asking folks to respond to this phrase that we're hearing going around as we're doing all this outreach. And the phrase is, don't Portland our Estacada. And it's a very catchy phrase. Everyone can think of things that they don't like about Portland and that they don't want to see happen to Estacada. But in terms of developing this housing project that we're working on, it's not super helpful for us if we don't know exactly what people mean by that phrase. And so those surveys are at the far end. Yeah, the table that I'm pointing to way down there, they're also online. They're called Envisioning Our Estacada. And so it's just asking for feedback from community members, people who live or work or play in Estacada, about, yeah, how you feel about all those things. So please take the survey.
Thank you, Taylor. And we just had a couple more people join, not to single you out, but we were going to take a break here and dismiss anybody who needed to leave. But if either of you would like to share, we would love to hear, or if you may have just come to listen, that's fine too. But if you would like to share, just let us know and we will let you speak at the mic.
Yeah, I'll repeat the question for them.
Oh,
Sorry.
yes. One more time, the question.
So the primary question that we're asking is, what barriers to access or inclusion have you experienced or witnessed in Estacada?
Okay. All right. Last call for comments from here. Okay, let's make that a wrap, I think. And if we can just, why don't we just pause the Zoom in case anybody